Let's dive in deep, my dear friends, into our PATH method to get our spouse back, to get them back in love. You remember those feelings of when you were first in love with each other, back in those good old days when you felt close and connected. You could cuddle on the couch, have those late night conversations, maybe doing nothing at all, but just feeling so at ease with each other. Maybe having fun with each other, passion, adventure, travel, or maybe just relaxing and taking it easy. So that's what we want to get back to, is helping us to get our spouse back in love with us. And I'm going to break this really easy down for us into 4 steps of our brand new proven PATH method. And now I actually don't want to do a lot of the talking here. I actually want to show you exactly the results that people are getting with this proven method. And they're awesome. And I just want to let them do the talking for me. These are real testimonials here in our Thriving Marriage group. You can look them up. You can see them yourself. And if you're in our group, you know that they're just like flooding in right now as people are getting better results than ever before with this new method. So let's dive into this into step number 1. Step number 1 is that we want to open communication with our spouse. Yes, you will finally have open, real communication with your husband or your wife. I can say that about 100% of the time, okay, maybe 99.9 to be more accurate, percent of the time, when our clients first start working with us, they have very little communication. Like they say, we barely talk right now. My spouse is so closed off. Every time I try to talk about the marriage, they're just like a brick wall. They're a closed door. They are so resistant to talking about the marriage. When I say, like, let's work on us, they're like, no, I am never going to talk to you about that ever. I'm done. I want a divorce. I'm not in love with you anymore. It's over. I love someone else. That is 99.9% of the time exactly what's going on. So if it sounds like you, you're not alone. All right. Maybe it's uncomfortable. It's tense. There's always that tension and it feels so awkward and strained. Maybe they're like, my spouse is so cold. They feel so cold. They're just like frigid to me. Or maybe, we can only talk about surface level stuff, the kids, the business, the job, the house, the separation, the divorce, kind of that surface level thing. And we can never really get into having a real conversation. So that is why opening up communication is the first milestone. It's the first bridge that must be built between you and your spouse to bridge that gap. And that is exactly what we teach you how to do. This isn't an exaggeration. 100% of our clients that follow our PATH method are able to open up communication with their spouses, whereas they couldn't get through to them before. Now, the story I shared yesterday about the tale of the 3 marriages, you know that there are occasionally clients like Bruce whose marriage is not saved. However, he became a better person because of it. And he was able to open up communication with his wife where it wasn't there before. And it went from being very strained and tense to now it's open and easy. Even though they are divorced, he's able to communicate with her about the kids and everything else that they need. And that right there is a major, major blessing. So I want to share a few of the more recent results that our clients are getting as they apply this. Here's Simon. He says that High Thrive coaching is helpful in understanding what to say and when to say it. And that has made a huge improvement in helping her open up and communicate with me. Now, Simon's wife was completely checked out, okay? And he was in just freeze mode. Let me know if this sounds familiar. That he's like, I don't even know what to do or say. I seem like it's always the wrong thing. I don't know what to do. And so sometimes I end up doing nothing, or sometimes I end up just blowing up because I can't take it anymore. And it just seems like I never have the right solution. I don't know how to talk with her. And so this was a huge milestone for Simon. And now they can open up and actually communicate. And his wife is actually getting there now through this method. Here's Tammy. She says We never had a conversation last more than 2 minutes before, and it was always business stuff about the house and the kids. Now, he shared with me more in the past 6 days than the previous 6 months. I'm starting to see his reasons for wanting to leave, and I feel so encouraged. Again, we always want to celebrate that we have just crossed a major milestone. They are opening up now. She can finally understand his reasons, aka his narrative, right? His narrative, the reasons why he's leaving, justifying his leaving. And when we can uncover that through open communication, that is a major milestone, and absolutely celebrate that. So ask yourself, could my marriage benefit from that type of communication? Would I like to have open communication with my husband, with my wife? Would I like to be able to know what's going on with them? Would I like to understand what their narrative is? Would I like to be able to go beyond the surface level stuff and actually have real, deep understanding between us? Awesome. That takes us to step 2. And step 2 of our PATH method is that we buy 6 months of time. No, we're not going to the store and running our debit card and saying, I'd like to buy 6 months of time, please. Although that would be much preferred because that'd be very easy. What we're looking to do here is that we've proven time and time again that if we can slow down the process of divorce, of separation, or even just distance between you and your husband or your wife, and we can gain 6 months of time, that the opportunity to get our husband or our wife to fall back in love with us greatly increases. Greatly increases. So let me just share this with you. I literally saw this yesterday in our Thriving Marriage group. This is Dawn Ward, and she says, thanks to High Thrive Coaching, we restored our marriage and are celebrating our anniversary in Oahu. So this is what it looks like on the other end of the 6 months of time, on the other end of applying this radically different and effective method. JC Gonzalez here. You can see the date, March 9th. You can go look this up. JC says, win, major win. We finally talked about the elephant in the room. Okay, I couldn't do it without God. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that I couldn't have done it had I not watched these videos and taken the advice to heart. It has been tough, but I know that I can stay strong. Thank you, Thriving Marriage. Without your advice and push, I would be in a world of hurt, pain, and anger. But now I see hope, happiness, and a future. So awesome. And here is Shane. I can't say the last name, but he says that she is going to come back. She put this on my hand tonight. So this is what it looks like on the other side of 6 months of time. Does that make sense? Would you like to buy 6 months of time? Swipe your debit card, buy that 6 months of time? Just kidding. No, we go in deep and we show you exactly how to get there as you have that open communication now so that you can get that 6 months of time. So the opportunity to fully restore your relationship, to get your spouse back in love with you, to get back to those good old days greatly increases. Running along here, step 3, change their narrative. You know by now that the narrative, the story, is so crucial to getting your spouse back. Your husband, wife in this stage changes the story that they have created about you and the relationship. Okay, let's go on here. So they can actually see the possibility of being happy with me again. My husband, he sees the possibility of being happy with me again. My wife sees the possibility of being happy with me again. They're starting to question and doubt their narrative, and they're seeing the possibilities. And here we have incredible opportunity for them to fall back in love with us. Many other counselors, coaches, and pastors, etc., they totally miss this. And I'm going to share that with this next example from Mike, one of our recent clients. He says, for 8 months, I was trying to make changes. He was going through counseling, and The counselor said, just make positive changes, just make positive changes. And he did. He was actually a former alcoholic, and he made immense amount of positive changes to show his wife, Cammie, that I was a new person. I did everything I could think of, and nothing seemed to make much difference. Talk about frustrating. Do you relate to that? It is so frustrating, and it is exhausting. I'll add that to Mike's words here. All right, back to Mike. Until I used your P.A.T.H method and finally helped her to change her story about me. It was, well, just like what you said. Now she sees the changes I've made, and our hope for the future is rising. It's working. And this was so awesome to hear from my partner, Mark. He's our head marriage coach here at High Thrive Coaching, to hear that she was recognizing these changes. And it was like, she talked about like just the lights turned on. I think is how she said it. The lights just turned on, and now she could finally see reality for what it was, because she got out of her own story and she started to realize that that story wasn't actually true. And so now they have really increased hope, which brings us to step 4, increase hope. Here in this step, we're going to learn to create healthy boundaries, which equals increased security and trust. We open healthy communication even more. We get to the fun part, the flirty, the healthy talks, the easy talks, the late night talks, snuggling on the couch, the late night talks as the kids are in bed and we're just enjoying time together, or we go out on a date and we just can't get enough of each other anymore. And we deepen the intimacy and the connection. What that looks like for people who've gone through this is now they say they feel safe, they feel close, and they feel happy. And then we ensure that we solve any problems remaining at their roots. What this equates to is genuine love for each other and lasting change, lasting feelings of being in love. Okay? So here's Andrea Moorhart. Just posted this in February, a little over a month ago. She says, another big win. I followed Mark's advice for building trust and stopped letting my sadness and hurt show. I started focusing on victory and love, as Heather suggested, and I waited and prayed. He wouldn't really share needs or anything with me, so I figured I could at least try to show a little affection and maybe meet a bit of a need. Just a touch on the arm or shoulder here and there, but he quickly started to actually respond. Soon after I did the first marriage meditation, he started giving me a touch here or there too, and began to open up little by little. Now he is actually being affectionate again. I think we are having some real breakthroughs. Here's JC Gonzalez again. Oh no, we already talked about this one, the elephant in the room. Right, but it's about having the right method, so that you can get out of the hurt, the pain, the anger, the coldness that might be currently there between you and your spouse. That big elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about. You can finally learn how to communicate about that and get rid of that fear, get rid of that tension, and see the hope, happiness, and the future. And finally, here's Kathy Eastman with her husband, Jimmy Eastman, and said, good news, my husband wants to start completely over, and he wants to work our marriage out no matter what it takes. And then she goes on to where they were 17 years ago and how they struggled for many, many years. And there was no affair, just major problem. And they were able to resolve that and get to the point now, right? Just posted this picture here of their wedding bands on, and that her husband wants to start completely over and wants the marriage to work out no matter what it takes. And so that is where, honestly, so many of our clients are right now. It just is incredible to witness. I'm so grateful to have had a part in that, and so proud of everyone for applying this, for taking action, and working on their very sacred marriage relationships. So I want you to ask yourself, do I want to buy 6 months of time so I can have my spouse fall back in love with me? Sorry, the wording got a little messed up there. So I can have my spouse fall back in love with me. I was probably trying to feed the baby a bottle and type at the same time. Not a good habit, but I do it all the time. Would I like to cuddle on the couch again? Ben and I were just cuddling last night, and it just feels so good to be so close and at ease with each other. Have fun doing nothing at all. To flirt, to kiss, to play, to be adventurous, to be easy, to be relaxing, to have passion, to have intimacy of every single level, emotional, physical, spiritual, mental, all of that kind of just closeness, vulnerability, security, and safety. Have late night talks and laughing again. So if you say yes to this, then in 2 days, I want to let you know we're opening doors on our brand new P.A.T.H live course. We are making this a live course because we have found that a live course is infinitely more effective than a recorded or automated course that we've used in the past and many other programs use as well. What we're doing is we're actually merging our live one-on-one coaching with our incredible course to give you the very best resources possible so that your spouse can fall back in love with you and you can have a happy ending to your love story. My heart, my love, my gratitude go out to you. We look forward to seeing you fall back in love and having your marriage